There is a quiet moment that happens almost every day in homes shared with dogs, and most people never notice it. It is not dramatic. There is no barking, no tail wagging, no obvious signal demanding attention. It is simply a dog pausing, watching, reading the room with a stillness that feels almost human. In that moment, before you say a word or even fully understand what you are feeling yourself, your dog already knows something has shifted. Welcome to Dog Facts Funny. This episode is not about training techniques or commands, and it is not about turning dogs into emotional support tools. It is about presence, awareness, and the subtle emotional language that dogs have been reading long before humans try to explain it. Because calm dogs are rarely created by control. They are shaped by emotional environments, by rhythms, by the invisible tone of a household. And at the center of that environment is the emotional state of the person they trust most. When we talk about calm owners creating calm dogs, we are not talking about perfection. We are talking about coherence, about emotional signals that make sense, about safety that doesn't need to be announced because it can be felt. Dogs don't hear words first. Dogs live in a world that moves faster than language. Before words form meaning, before thoughts turn into sentences, there are shifts in posture, breath, muscle tension, and energy. Dogs notice these shifts instantly because their survival once depended on it. A raised shoulder, a tightened jaw, a shallow breath. These are not small details to a dog. They are information. Humans often believe they are hiding their emotions because they are silent, because they are polite, because they are trying to stay composed. But dogs do not read politeness. They read patterns. They read inconsistency. They read the space between what is said and what is felt. When those two do not align, dogs feel uncertainty, and uncertainty is rarely calming. This is why a calm voice alone does not calm a dog. A soft tone layered over tension is still tension. Dogs respond to congruence. When body, breath, and emotional state are aligned, that alignment is what creates safety, not volume or authority. Emotional contagion is not a metaphor. When people say dogs pick up on emotions, it can sound vague or poetic, as if it is a sentimental idea rather than a biological reality. But emotional contagion is measurable. Dogs mirror heart rate changes. They respond to cortisol levels. They adjust their behavior based on emotional cues long before conscious interaction occurs. This does not mean dogs absorb emotions like sponges without boundaries. It means they attune. They tune themselves to the emotional frequency of their environment, especially to the person they rely on most. When that person is regulated, predictable, and emotionally grounded, dogs tend to settle into that same rhythm. When that person is anxious, volatile, or emotionally disconnected, dogs often reflect that instability in ways that get mislabeled as behavioral problems. A restless dog is not always bored. A reactive dog is not always aggressive. Sometimes, a dog is simply living inside an emotional weather system that changes too fast to trust. Calm is a state, not a command. Many owners try to teach calmness the same way they teach sit or stay, as if calm is a behavior that can be demanded. But calm is not something a dog does. It is something a dog feels safe enough to enter. And safety is never forced. A calm owner is not someone who never feels stress. It is someone whose stress has edges. Someone whose emotions rise and fall without spilling unpredictably into the space around them. Dogs do not need perfection. They need emotional clarity. When owners slow their movements, soften their breathing, and stop performing calm while feeling chaos inside, dogs notice. They respond not because they are trained to, but because the environment finally makes sense. Calm becomes contagious not through effort, but through authenticity. Why anxious dogs are often hyperattentive. Some dogs appear unusually alert, constantly scanning faces, reacting quickly to changes in mood or tone. This is often interpreted as intelligence or sensitivity, but it can also be a sign of emotional responsibility. These dogs are not relaxed observers. They are emotional managers. When a dog feels responsible for monitoring the emotional stability of a household, true rest becomes difficult. Sleep is lighter. Reactions are faster. The nervous system stays partially activated, always ready to respond to shifts that feel unpredictable. Over time, This state is exhausting. Calm owners unconsciously give dogs permission to rest, not by ignoring them, but by being emotionally reliable, by responding consistently, by allowing silence to exist without tension. In these environments, dogs stop scanning because there is nothing they need to manage. Calm does not mean passive. There is a misunderstanding that calm owners are detached, quiet, or emotionally distant. In reality, calm ownership is deeply engaged. It involves awareness, presence, and responsiveness. Calm is not the absence of emotion. It is the absence of emotional chaos. Dogs thrive when emotional signals are clear and proportionate. Excitement matches joy. Concern matches real danger. Frustration resolves instead of lingering. In these conditions, dogs learn that the world is readable, that reactions have meaning, that they do not need to overreact to be heard. A calm environment does not suppress a dog's personality. It allows it to emerge without anxiety distorting it. The nervous system sets the tone. Dogs regulate through connection. Their nervous systems synchronize with those they trust, especially in moments of uncertainty. This is why your dog may lie closer when you are sad, or become unsettled when you are overwhelmed, even if nothing outward is changed. Calm owners unconsciously regulate through rhythm, regular routines, predictable reactions, gentle transitions between activity and rest. Dogs do not need rigid schedules, but they need emotional pacing. When energy spikes without resolution, dogs stay activated. When energy rises and settles naturally, dogs learn how to return to calm. This is not training. This is co-regulation, and it begins with awareness rather than control. Calm is a gift you share. Calm dogs are not accidents. They are reflections, not perfect mirrors, but honest ones. They show us the emotional tone we live inside more clearly than we often see ourselves. This is not a judgment. It is an invitation. An invitation to slow down, to notice, and to understand that the relationship between humans and dogs has always been built on emotional awareness rather than words. Dogs were reading us long before we tried to read them back. When calm becomes something you practice for yourself, rather than something you demand from your dog, the relationship shifts. Trust deepens, behavior softens, and the space you share becomes quieter in a way that feels alive, not empty. If this reflection resonated with you, you are already part of the conversation this channel is building. A space for observing dogs not as problems to solve, but as beings who respond to the emotional worlds we invite them into. If you'd like to continue exploring the invisible bond between humans and dogs, consider subscribing and staying with us. More quiet moments are coming.